Good morning, security gang, and welcome back to the CyberHub Podcast. My name is James Azar. I'm the host, also a Chief Information Security Officer by trade. Thank you all for tuning in. March 2nd, 2026. We're cruising into this year, but what a weekend this has been. Obviously, we're going to be kicking off today's show with examining the cyber retaliation hit across Iranian apps and on Iranian TV after the U.S. and Israel began hammering the tyrannical regime of Iran. We'll also be covering 38 million Canadian Tire accounts exposed, a $48 million in crypto stolen after a government wallet seed leak, CISA warning about dormant malware on the gift that keeps on giving Avanti devices, and fresh evidence of APT-37 breaching air-gapped networks. So just because it's not plugged in doesn't mean it's not there for the taking. Goalposts continue to move. Threat actors continue to get better at what they do. So all of that on this morning's show. Join me for my double espresso this morning. I've got my fantastic Lavazza coffee cup. Cheers, y'all. Splendid. Absolutely splendid. All right. Let's not mince any words on this morning's show. For those who tune in and are regulars, know I absolutely speak my mind. And so on Friday evening, the United States and Israel began an operation taking out the top brass leadership of Iran and striking Iran at the core of a regime that every weekend on Friday chants death to America, death to Israel, and for 47 years has been undermining the United States and Western civilization with its version of what they call morals. So the war has begun. We've obviously lost 3 U.S. service members as of this weekend, with 4 or 5 more injured due to shrapnel as the Iranian launched ballistic missiles at U.S. bases. In Israel, a direct hit on a ballistic missile took the lives of 9 civilians, including an entire family of parents and 4 of their children who were hiding in a bomb shelter that got a direct hit from the ballistic missile and perished. There was a hit on a building in Tel Aviv that took the life of a civilian there as well. There has been no casualties in the IDF as of yet. And last night, as we were getting ready for the show, Hezbollah in Lebanon did join by launching missiles at Israel. Israel's already struck back in Lebanon. Now, you can get all of that on your favorite media channel, but where we're going to get into this morning is the cyber realm of this kinetic warfare. And Reuters is reporting that Iranian apps and websites were hit by cyber attacks following U.S. and Israeli strikes. This is the digital echo of kinetic conflict. When military activity escalates, retaliatory cyber operations often follow. You'll see stuff like website defacement or service disruptions, data leaks, and coordinated denial of service campaigns. But while we've seen this pattern repeatedly in the Russia-Ukraine war, now we're seeing it come across the Middle East. Cyber becomes the pressure valve. While much of the activity may appear hacktivist on the surface, attribution in these moments is rarely simple. So a few things that have happened there. One, hackers associated with Israel allegedly hacked the Beid Saba, a religious app with more than 5 million downloads, displaying messages saying it's time for reckoning. Obviously, Ayatollah Khamenei has gone to hell with the other people he's financed over his terror regime of almost 37 years or so that he's been at the helm of the Iranian regime there, and responsible for the murder of over 40,000 citizens just in the last month or so, as people are sick of his tyrannical reign. He's met his demise. And then the other thing here, this is coming on, obviously, coming on Iranian TV, where you can actually see the hacking of live Iranian of the state government television, and then the airing of Netanyahu and Trump's speech with Persian subtitle, letting people know that they're going after the regime. Again, these types of operations continue to happen at every moment. The risk here is this: rapid escalation is going to cycle where cyber attacks on the Iranian side are going to start looking at your organization. And so there's a few things you want to do as a CISO this morning, heading back into the office if you haven't done so over the weekend. You should be running a risk assessment of who in your supply chain could be a target or who in your customers is a target. Then additionally, you should identify the different methods and TTPs and IOCs. If you don't know those, reach out to CISA. We'll get to CISA in just a little bit, by the way, as well. But you want to reach out to CISA, FBI, Secret Service, any one of those contacts, or your ISAC to identify TTPs and IOCs of Iranian hacktivists and Iranian APTs. And you want to kind of get your security operations team really starting to prep and look for those here in the coming probably 2 to 4 weeks. I anticipate this is probably going to go around 3 to 4 weeks, this campaign, until they topple the regime completely. There's going to be no talking. There's no talking to begin with. There's no talking. There's no cutting a deal with a country, with a leadership that says death to America. That's just not something you can do. You can't make someone who hates you cut a deal with you and expect them to honor the deal they're going to make. They're just not going to do it. So this is going to end only one way. That's my personal opinion here, by the way, is the toppling of the regime completely. That's it. And the people of Iran, you bravely went out a month ago, and you've lost so many of those people. Don't let their blood go down in vain. Go out, reclaim the great Persian Empire, reclaim your rich history from these Islamists, and bring it to fruition as it was pre-1979. Okay, we'll move to Canadian Tire confirming a data breach that did affect nearly 38 million of their customers. The staggering number, given Canada's population, is insane. The exposed data reportedly includes personal details like names, emails, and even potentially loyalty program information. Correlating this with like previous large retail breaches, loyalty systems remain high value targets because they combine identity and behavioral purchase data. This isn't just spam, it's about identity chaining across ecosystems, with the risk being that mass credential stuffing and personalized fraud campaigns leveraging loyalty data. To mitigate this one, you should be deploying automated credential stuffing detection integrated with bot management controls in order to tighten your environment. And if you're customers and you're a Canadian business and you've got customers that have been compromised there, I would be resetting passwords. And I mean, 38 million, I think the population of Canada is 50. So, I mean, that's relative. That's pretty much a lot of people in Canada. A $48 million heist in crypto, and one of the most alarming stories, approximately $48 million in cryptocurrency was stolen after South Korea's tax agency reportedly exposed a wallet seed phrase. Seed phrases are the master keys to crypto assets, exposing one effectively hands over total control. This wasn't a smart contract exploit or even an exchange compromise. It's just key material exposure. It's operational security failure at the highest level that had real life consequences. This is an irreversible financial loss due to poor key management practices. And if you have crypto wallets, you should be enforcing hardware secured key custody with strict offline seed storage policies that doesn't get shared. That's really easy there. You should do that right now. What are you waiting for? All right, the Intellexa spyware case gets really interesting in Greece. The spyware case tied to Intellexa has led to sentencing in Greece until Intellexa has been linked to commercial surveillance tools reportedly used against journalists and political targets in the country. This development is reflecting growing regulatory and legal scrutiny across the spyware industry, echoing previous sanction actions. The commercial spyware market does remain deeply intertwined with state security interests. The risk here is the proliferation. Well, the misdemeanor court in Athens did sentence the defendants to more than 126 years in prison, but under Greek law, they will only serve 8 years, according to local news reports. The sentences will be appealed, and the defendants will remain free until the appeal process concludes. The defendants are Intellexa founder Tal DeLeon, Sarah Hamu, a corporate offshoring specialist who provided managerial services to the consortium, Felix Bitizeos, a former deputy administrator of Alexa, and Yanis Lavranos. Lavranos' company Creakill is a surveillance tool supplier allegedly purchased Predator, the spyware made by Intellexa that was used to snoop on more than 90 Greeks from 2020 to 2021, according to local news reports. The conviction is a significant turn of events, which has been accused of facilitating a bunch of spyware. Again, in this case, though, this wasn't government sanctioned, meaning someone who was a third party took the spyware, then decided to use it for like kind of going after journalists and different political assets for their own purpose, which is why this case is there. It's different from other cases. This wasn't like the government buying spyware and now they're holding those people as scapegoats, but rather they sold the spyware to a third party. That person is now dealing with it. So there's that there as well. So we'll take that and we'll see what happens with the appeal there. All right, if you have Avanti and you still like it, CISA is warning you that the research malware can remain dormant on Avanti devices even after you patch them, and that's critical. We've reported extensively on Avanti 0 days over the past year. This is suggesting that exploitation may persist through stealthy backdoors even after remediation. You want to patch and move on is no longer sufficient. My advice, rip it out, because the risk here is a false sense of security after patching without full compromise eradication. And so you could do a full device rebuild or save yourself the trouble and just rip Avanti out, cancel the contract, and move on. Again, this is CVE 2025-0282. You'll probably do yourself and many other people on your team a favor at this point. North Korea attackers, and specifically APT-37, is reportedly using new malware capable of breaching air-gapped networks. This likely involves removable media or even supply chain insertion, or even insider-assisted infection vectors. Air-gap doesn't mean safe, it just means harder. We've seen this before with Stuxnets and other advanced campaigns. Just because it's air-gap doesn't mean it's unreachable. With the risk being covert data exfiltration from supposedly isolated systems. To mitigate this one, you should implement strict removable media control and monitoring within sensitive network zones. That should all come into play. All right. We'll continue with this one. Clawjacked. I hope you're ready for this, folks. OpenClaw is the gift that continues to give. The Clawjacked attack does allow malicious websites to hijack OpenClaw AI workflows to exfiltrate data. This is representing another example of AI tools becoming unintended bridges between systems. And by exploiting how OpenClaw handled web interactions, attackers were able to steal information indirectly. The risk being AI orchestration platforms acting as data exfil proxies. To mitigate this one, you should be enforcing cross-domain request validation and strict origin checking in your AI automation platform as well. All right, as we get ready to wrap up our show, Senator Ron Wyden, one of the most useless senators in the U.S. Senate, is now blocking the confirmation of NSA and Cyber Command nominee Lieutenant General Joshua Reed for the leadership role. And he's also blocked the CISA leadership role, and he's blocked other leadership roles. This guy is just an absolute, just bottom of the barrel DC people, right? And he's only doing it because I'm going to block it because I don't think he has enough experience. What do you know? What experience do you have being senator? What is up with the state of Washington? Elect better people. My gosh, this guy has just been on a one-stop, just hitting and denying this. Sorry, Oregon. He's from Oregon, not Washington. So, I mean, come on, dude, seriously, like who? I have no words, because if I don't mince my words here, if I don't shut up, it's just going to who is this guy? Why is he still a senator from Oregon? I mean, I know why he's still a senator from Oregon, but please, come on, dude. You've delayed CISA. CISA has been over a year without a director. And now you want to delay NSA and Cyber Command at a time when we need a leader in the House because we're in the middle of a military operation with Iran. Well done, Senator Ron Wyden, folks. Let's you know what? Let's give him a hand. I mean, this guy's just, he's fighting. All right, our final story of the day: a Chilean operator of a major carding shop has been extradited to the United States in the great state of Utah. Carding marketplaces are the backbone of stolen credit card monetization. This arrest follows broader law enforcement efforts targeting financial cybercrime infrastructure. It's also demonstrating progress, but also highlighting the global distribution of these networks across all kinds of different countries. Alex Rodriguez Venezuela Monea is also known as Val 4K, and he was arraigned in Utah federal court on charges of trafficking in unauthorized access devices and unlawful transfer of means of identification to facilitate criminal conduct. So he'll be dealing with the long arm of justice from Uncle Sam. Over the weekend, because of the attack on Iran and just the amount of work that I got slapped with, I wasn't able to get our Saturday article out. I'll get it out next week, hopefully. I'm not sure that this week will be any less busy than this weekend has been, but nonetheless, we'll do our best to get that up. So I appreciate your patience in sometimes missing this stuff. But as I said, full-time CISO, I do this podcast, and I've got stuff I do on the side to support many of our folks. So I'll just say that we couldn't get it done this weekend, but we'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern live with all the latest. But if you've got anything out of today's news, risk assessments, patching, making sure you're dealing with good hygiene is really, really critical. And as tech moves faster, so do vulnerabilities in your environment. Make sure you're not flying blind, right? That's going to be critical. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, y'all stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.